Texas Podcast Massacre contains spoilers and adult language. For more horror, visit us at our website at texaspodcastmassacre.com.
Welcome to another episode of Texas Podcast Massacre, coming to you from Houston, Texas. I'm your host, Mitch, and with me, as always, is my fantastic film crew, Nate.
Great, just the way we planned it.
That's right. That's just that pause. Perfect. Really works on live television. And exactly. Lisa.
I can't remember a quote from the movie.
There's a lot of, well, it's all in Japanese too. So, you don't know Japanese. We'll forgive you for that one. Welcome to another episode of Texas Podcast Massacre, where each week we take a look at a different horror movie and debate a horror related topic with our unsuspecting victim, who's usually not someone we would consider a horror fan. It is still the wonderful month of Japanuary. That's right. We've been talking Japanese horror films, a little more of the obscure ones. We're, obviously, we've talked about Ring and The Grudge. Those are more well-known ones. We're looking at some other ones that maybe you haven't been aware of, or more maybe deeper cuts. And I don't think I don't know if I can tell you this is a deeper cut, but it is certainly a great cut. This week's episode is One Cut of the Dead, which came out in 2019 on Shudder.
Well, hold on. It came out earlier than that.
Well, I am aware of it coming out in 2019, and so that is. But we'll go until you tell us more about it later.
Fine. That's one way to look.
All right. No, so this is. I had actually never seen this movie until for this week, but I'd heard a lot of great things about it. So we'll see if it lives up to the hype. Lisa, we're about halfway through. We're this halfway point of Japanuary. How you feeling?
It's going fine.
Going fine. How are you feeling about Japanese horror films versus the normal schlock we throw at you?
Well, I like these two that we've watched.
That's good. Now we also did.
This is the year of the Lisa. This is the year of the Lisa.
I like it. Oh, I like it.
Give it time.
Now we also did. I seem to recall you begrudgingly kind of liking House-2.
I did.
Did you? I don't remember.
I don't know about those words.
I seem to recall it, but maybe like that movie, it was all a fever dream. So this movie's interesting. Now this one's a little bit more a newer film than last week's episode, Perfect Blue, and then next week's episode will actually be an even older entry. So we're kind of trying to hit quite a bit. But Nate, how many times have you seen this, or had you seen this film prior? I think you had.
This is my third time.
Third time. Yeah. Nice. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to hear what your thought was on the third time, because first time is certainly interesting. You go through a wide range of emotions while watching this film the first time. So, look, we are going to get into it, but of course, as always, let's have a little debate question.
It's time to play the game. Time to play the game.
It's time to play the game, and by that, the game is, can Mitch do the right drop? I can't. I clicked.
No, you lost.
But we're gonna go with that.
We're gonna go with
it. Well, you know what? Look, wrestling fans know that Triple H is losing a lot of games, and a lot of names because all of his wrestlers are getting let go. So
it's not like you just lost the plot. Also, Jesus,
very much so. I need to drink my coffee. Okay, no, look. So this week's debate question. Lisa, actually, you had this one, so I'm gonna let you ask it.
Great. So in this movie, you get the horror movie and you get a behind the scenes look at how they did the horror movie, which is really interesting. So we've seen, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000 horror movies now.
Roughly. Yeah.
Feels that way.
Roughly. So which one would you want to go back and get a behind the scenes look at the crew filming that movie?
Oh man, Nate, do you have one jumping out at the top?
Oh man, I'd love to be behind the scenes for Robert Eggers' The Witch.
Yeah, that I should have. It's funny. I could have guessed yours better than I could mine.
Yeah, because that would have been cool. I
But
mean,
why?
like,
What is so? There's nothing like that secretive about it.
no, not the secretive part. I want to see just how much shit the goat was getting into in that movie. Like the goat.
Okay.
Apparently, the stories.
How much of the set the goat ate?
Apparently, the stories are that goat was terrible. Like it was just awful to work with. What's the saying? Never work with children or animals, right? So, Black Phillip, a hellion in the story and in real life, apparently. I would have loved to have seen this, like the goat. Can you imagine the behind this? Well, you're the goat wrangler, like for a movie, and the goat is terrible. What are you supposed to act? That'd be the main character in my behind the scene version of the movie, but just the goat wrangler. And then like Anya Taylor-Joy like says something nice to him, and then he's just like looking like, oh, thanks. And he just gets like head butted by the goat. That would be incredible. Yeah, I want that. I want that to be made.
Yeah,
Nice.
I mean,
Yeah.
for me, I'm going with a staple of Texas Podcast Massacre, which is of course Leprechaun in the Hood. I want to hang out with Mac Daddy Onassis behind the scenes. I want to know how much of that script was written versus how much you just go for
That's
it.
That's a good
like
point.
how many rhymes did Warwick Davis just come up with those on his own like right away?
He sounds like he did not. It's from what I've heard, it sounds like that was not the case, unfortunately. But
I mean, I want more. Maybe there were some behind the scenes rap battles between Ice-T and Warwick Davis.
that
I would
be something.
There's
That'd be
a
interesting.
lot that could have been, and who knows? Maybe it was a very toned down, chill set. Maybe it's disappointing. This could be one of those like never meet your hero situations, like where it's just like, oh, okay, boo. Like I'm hoping not though. I'm hoping it was an incredible set. What about you, Lisa? Which of these would you have which of the movies that we've watched would you have wanted to see?
So I think it would be interesting to see, we've talked about the fact that Child's Play scared me as a kid. I think if I went back and watched them actually filming it with the puppet and everything and like trying to do those scenes, then I think it would probably take some of the scary element out of it. So that would be kind of cool to see.
So it would just look like that scene in Ms. Doubtfire where Robin Williams playing with the dinosaurs off camera. Is that what you're kind of hoping for?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or it's like Sesame Street, seeing how the sausage is made with the dolls.
Yeah, because I thought that I had seen something, but maybe it wasn't for Child's Play, or maybe it was some horror movie I thought, but they there's like a subfloor where the puppeteers are standing, right? So that they can be at the right level for the puppets. So yeah, it would just be interesting to see that and see I think in the first one, isn't it the mom from Seventh Heaven, isn't it? See her with the different puppets. Yeah. So that's one.
What is happening?
She's the mom from Seventh Heaven. I don't know her real name, but
no, I don't know.
That's how I remember
I'm just
her.
like, okay, you got my attention. What is happening? Like, what is going on?
That's the role I remember her in.
Okay, all right. Well,
Catherine Hicks. Is that? I think you're.
Those are
that
words.
sounds right.
Wow. Okay.
Hold on. I'm looking now. I'm impressed. I didn't think about that, but yeah, I think it is seventh heaven. She was in a bunch of stuff. You're talking about the TV show, right?
Yeah. Is that not her?
I'm looking. I thought it was, but maybe
Okay.
Yeah. Wait, when did that show come on? Yeah, that was her.
Yeah, see?
Wow.
Lisa,
That's
what?
what. So that's
That show
what,
was
when
on
we
for
watched
11
Child's
years.
Play,
That seems like a lie.
Yeah, it was.
No way.
When we watched Child's Play,
Shouldn't it be-
I'm sitting there going,
shouldn't it be
that's the mom
11th
from
Heaven?
Seventh Heaven.
Right.
11th heaven. Come on. Wow. Okay. Well, those are words. All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, let us know what movie you'd want to see the behind the scenes of. You can let us know at TX Pod Massacre on Twitter, Texas Podcast Massacre, but everywhere else. I don't even know what the hell we're calling ourselves anymore. And of course, Texas Podcast Massacre at gmail.com.
Follow us for our Seventh Heaven follow along podcast. Where we watch every episode. And Lisa's the host, and we get tormented, and it will take 17 years to complete. So just stay tuned for that.
I never said I was a huge fan of the show. I'm just saying.
And Nate's eyes now, you always will be. Yeah.
You always will be.
Make sure to give us a call on our hotline, 346-246-3143. Leave us a voicemail. We'll play them on the air. We love to hear from you. Speaking of, Nate found what may have been the most glorious thing in the world today. As many we've mentioned of several times over the years now. Nate and I we would spend when we were younger, we'd spend time with our moms, our separate moms, not each other's moms. We didn't know each other back then, but watching.
Stay away from my mom.
She's a nice lady.
Happening?
She's a nice lady. But look,
I don't know what's happening today. I don't know what's going on.
Nate and I sort of became even more best friends when we found out that we both watched Days of Our Lives with our moms growing up.
That was kind of awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
That was pretty great. And our shared love of because of that timing. That was also when you had this bonkers ass storyline of Marlena getting possessed by the devil or some demon or something. It didn't make any sense. Like at first she was a serial killer, and there was a big reveal. And I guess spoiler.
It was the devil. It was specifically the devil.
And then she was possessed, and that's why she was killing people. And then there was a whole thing of her in hell and on some weird island. I don't know, but
it was a double island. Yeah,
I get a text this morning.
Yeah, it's a volcano. There's a volcano, I believe, involved.
So,
Also.
we have our friends Discord channel where we share a bunch of stupid stuff. But Nate sent this to me directly, which I knew it was good, so I checked it right away. Marlena is getting possessed again, Lisa.
25 years later.
No.
Yes. Yes.
They're like, it's been so fucking long. No one remembers that story.
No, they all remember, and that's why it's so awesome. This lady's like 70-some years old at this point. It doesn't matter.
Hair fantastic, by the way.
A lot less stunts being done.
Now, I texted it to my mom. Have you sent it to your mom, Nate?
Of course I did. I actually found the playlist that shows the whole storyline. It's like an hour and plus.
Why didn't you send me that? Send it to me.
I will send it to you.
So that might be an episode. That might be a live streamed commentary over episode, and it's just going to talk
in the middle of the day.
Oh my god! Yeah. We need to do it. We need to do it in the middle of the day around lunchtime. We need to.
That would be very accurate to how Days of Our Lives is.
Oh my god. So I mean, look, I'm not suggesting anyone go and watch this, but if you're familiar with Days of Our Lives, just know that this is back, and I couldn't be more excited. I mean, I'm even looking at like movies that are coming out in the next few months, and I'm more excited about this than anything else coming out soon.
That's awesome.
I mean, right? What else is coming out anytime soon?
Nothing is good as Days of Our Lives.
The Jackass movie. Are you really more excited? I mean, come on. This is better than Jackass Forever.
That's true. That is 100% true.
I just. Speaking of new movies, I mean, we're not doing a review of it yet. Lisa did see Scream though recently.
Oh, Lisa saw Scream only.
Well, I did too. So I mean, it was both of us. But I was more proud of Lisa going on her own volition. Like, no one asked for it.
Yeah, not for the podcast. Can you believe it? Although when we got in the car, I was like, so when are we recording this episode?
Oh, so it'll be soon. I think really now.
But Nate, I think I can't remember if you're a fan of the Scream movies or not.
I am. I do like Scream.
Yeah, I think you'll like this one.
Except for the third one. But other than that, pretty solid.
I think you'll like it.
Interesting.
It was
that's good.
Not to give a lot away, because hopefully we'll record an episode at some point, but it was good, I think. I didn't walk out of there regretting. I'll put it this way.
Good, I think.
I didn't walk out of the theater regretting my decision to see it, not for the podcast, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Spend free time. I could have been doing something else.
Lisa without regret.
That's high praise.
Yeah, it's not.
I will say
normal.
say the review. So if you've been on the fence about the new Scream, if you're a horror fan, I can't imagine anyone sitting there like, I'm not gonna go see it. Right? I mean, if you're a horror fan, you've probably already seen it. But if you're an unsuspecting victim, I would say that it's very good, and I don't think you don't need to watch all the Screams to get it. I think I would just recommend you probably want to brush up on the original if you haven't seen it or it's been a long time and you don't really remember it very well. And then maybe the newest. Maybe the newest one. I don't think you need to though. You really don't need to know a whole lot about and I think that's part of why it's successful. But it's a very smart film. We'll talk more about it, but I think you'll. Yeah, if you've been on the fence about going to see it, I would recommend it. It's worth checking out in theaters for sure. Other than that, I don't know. There's a whole lot of any new horror movies coming out in theaters. In the next few months. I mean, the Batman's not. I mean, the Northman.
The Northman.
I don't know that's horror, but that's
only like 2 or 3 months away. Wow, that's.
I mean, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is coming out in May. That's the most horror film for Marvel. You know. There's that.
Isn't there, what's his face from Boss City going to be in a horror Marvel movie?
Oh, Morbius.
Moon Knight?
No, he's talking about Morbius.
Oh gosh.
Well, I thought Morbius got no, it's April 1st. Oh great. April Fool's Day. It'll be
maybe they didn't make
April
it
Fool
after
if you go
all.
show up to that
Maybe
damn movie.
It's a big joke.
I thought Morpheus wasn't in movies this year, but apparently.
No, Morbius with a B.
No, I know
PH.
that was a joke. That was the joke.
The Black Phone will be out end of June, right after both Jurassic World, Lightyear, and the Bob's Burgers movie, and the new Top Gun. There's a lot of go see Scream.
This is your child.
I want to say a lot, but y'all should just go see
the new
Scream.
Top Gun. Cool. That's great.
How much more beach volleyball scenes will there be? Is there, Nate? Okay, last question. We're gonna get into this movie. Sorry, I know I'm.
What a beach volleyball segue. I'm gonna.
How many?
Okay? What's happening?
Are there any horror movies that feature gratuitous beach volleyball? And then should there be? Is the question.
Oh, that's a good one. I could have swore there was a little bit of volleyball, maybe in Piranha.
Oh, maybe. Was there some? What are they playing in? What are they playing in Sleepaway Camp?
I don't know.
It's not volleyball. What are they?
They're playing they're playing baseball in Sleepaway Camp. They play baseball. There's an epic baseball and a great water balloon fight. If that counts.
Actually, there is a movie I'm finding now called Girls with Balls, which is it's a horror film. I just want to say that first off. It's a French Belgian dark comedy horror film. Which follows a championship volleyball team. So there is that.
Sounds great.
Although terrible reviews.
Put it on the list.
Terrible reviews.
Put it on the list. Girls with Balls, Human Centipede 3. Let's just get them all out of the way while we can.
I mean, if you're gonna watch something about girls with balls, you should watch Yellow Jackets because that is actually a good show, and it's very horror-esque. It's like if Alive met Lord of the Flies. It's about a girls' high school soccer team. They crash up in the Canadian mountains or whatever, and they basically have to survive. And there's a lot of time jumping kind of stuff. So a lot of cool mystery. It's on Showtime. It's really good. It has Christina Ricci in it, and I'm blanking on her name, but she was Audrey in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
I'm just getting absolutely none of the references today. I'm gonna apologize.
All right.
I know
No
who exactly
references.
you're talking about, Mitch, but her name's
No
not coming to me either.
references.
Well, it happens. Oh my goodness.
Okay. Let's move along.
All right. Well, anyway, let's get into this week's movie of the week, which is one.
Juliette Lewis.
Juliette Lewis. Thank you.
Juliette Lewis?
It was bothering me.
I'm just kidding. Okay. This is the behind the scenes of when sometimes things just are not going well with our podcast. Very apropos of the movie of the week. Sorry, Mitch. Go ahead.
No, we're good. So I don't have a trailer for this because I think the trailer they cut for it is actually like a good chunk of the movie, and it's a lot of people just screaming in Japanese, which is great radio. But so let's talk about what this movie is. So Lisa, what is this movie about?
This movie is about well, how can I say it? It's about a continuously cut horror movie, and then some other stuff happens. No, I don't want to give it away just yet.
Okay.
Unless we want to.
Other stuff happened. I mean, no,
because I got a lot to say about the first continuous cut of the movie.
No, that's good. Nate, what can you tell us about this film?
One Cut of the Dead came out in 2017 in Japan. I want to ask you guys, I don't know if you guys looked this up. Tell me if you did. Hold on. Beer open. Okay. How much do you guys think this movie is made for? Like, what was the budget of the movie?
500,000.
Okay, 500K. What do you think, Mitch?
Oh man.
You guys should be experts. Come on.
I'm gonna go slightly less. I'm gonna go 200K.
You say that, Nate, but every time I fucking think a movie should be made for like 100,000, you're like, it was made for $5 million.
This movie was made for $25,000.
Woo!
There you go.
Thanks.
That just bumped it up a point in my book.
There you go.
Yeah, and in Japan, it had made in like within the first year, it already made 250 times that.
That's right.
And across the whole world, it made $31 million. Made for 25,000, got 31 million. So this is like
return on your investment.
This was like kind of like a just like word of mouth, just cult hit in Japan and Southeast Asia, and then obviously, as Mitch said, came over to Shudder. But
you can't tell
crazy.
us that because that sort of budget is within our limits. So you're telling me we could make that movie. The budget to make our own movie?
We could.
I hear what you're saying.
That movie. I mean, the movie is made for $25,000 with basically all unknown actors. I will not be saying any actors what else they're in because they weren't. And it made basically like almost $28 million in Japan out of a $25,000 budget. So, I mean, just incredible. 1,000 times the budget in its native country.
That's amazing.
I mean, insane. And you can see why, right? Because
good for them.
The title card doesn't come in until about 30 some minutes into the movie. And it's a unique take on everything that's happening. It's basically two movies in one. It's kind of awesome. I'm a fan. So I'm just going to throw that out there. But yeah, it was, I guess, directed by Shin Ichiro Ueda, and who also wrote it. And then it's starring Takayuki Hamatsu.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. Harumi Suyama and Yuzuki Akiyama. So those are, and I'm sure everyone knows those people are. Yeah. So then the movie itself, I guess, I would recommend, going on Shudder, using the code TPM if you want. and checking out this movie because there's obviously is it even a twist? It's not really even a twist.
Yes, it is.
Is it a twist? Okay, there's a twist.
Okay, so I'm going to say this now before we move on.
Mm-hmm.
If you intend at all to watch this movie, please pause this now. Go watch the movie.
Go watch the movie.
Yeah.
And then come back to us because and I'm saying this because I feel like it is a different experience going into this having zero idea what this movie is about, as opposed to if you know what the second half is about. Because I had zero clue. Okay. Mitch said, we're watching this for the podcast. We sit down to watch it. We're talking about it. Oh, this is one long continuous cut. Okay. That's interesting. We get 20-ish, 30-ish minutes into this movie. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, what is this movie? This is the most awful thing I've ever watched. The cameraman keeps falling. Like, stuff keeps happening. This makes no sense. What is going on? And you get, I'm going to spoil it right now. So if you haven't watched it, shut me up and go watch it. You get to that point where you see the title card and I look at Mitch and I'm like, the fucking movie's over. What was that? What the hell did we just watch? Like, what is going on? And I was like, I don't know what the rest of this movie, like, there's still 40 minutes of runtime. What's going on? And then they cut to the 1 month previous and oh my gosh, it's so good. I had no idea that's what this movie was about. So them cutting back and I almost wish I had paid the tiny bit more attention to the first half of the movie because I got so frustrated with it. I was like, I don't even care, because you have to watch all the details so that when they go back the second time, you're like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense now.
Yeah, it's definitely a movie that like you're gonna want to watch. Like you're gonna want to go back and watch from the beginning. Once you realize what all is going on. Now, Nate, we both watched it the one time. I'm curious on the third time around. Is there my worry with this film is that you'd get like diminishing returns, right? Like first time you get the twist and you're like, oh my god, this is incredible, and so you got to rewatch it like immediately. Second time is great because you're like catching everything, right? The third time, how would you describe that? Did you enjoy it as much as you did the first two? Was it kind of okay? I'm curious. Where'd you stand on that?
Yeah, it's still interesting because it's a fairly like intricate movie, right? So the third time I watched it, I was actually imagining what the camera crew that was filming it for the film had to go through to watch the thing. I looked it up. So like the continuous take, that is the movie, right?
Right.
It was actually 6 takes in real life, but still pretty solid, right? So I was thinking like, what's the camera crew got to be doing to follow the camera crew that's recording the movie? I thought it was that's the point of view I was looking at the third time.
And they show a little bit, I mean, this isn't a spoiler, but they show a little bit of that at the very, very end, right? They zoom back even further and you see the camera crew filming the movie.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah.
This is like a meta movie, for sure.
For sure.
But I thought it was good. So I mean, can't complain.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those ones too that I think so I feel like this is one of the movies like if you're just wanting a straight horror movie, because so the premise is really it's about people who are a film crew goes to this island to direct a horror movie, zombie movie, and then it turns out that there are actually zombies on this island, right? And I think if it's a pretty cool gimmick, I guess. I mean, it's nothing groundbreaking, but I think if you're like a true horror fan, you're like really wanting it to like be something scary, and that's what you're going in for. You're gonna be very disappointed with that first the first chunk of it, just because it's like it's Velocipaster levels of bad. Is that fair, Nate? Like, I mean, it's like at one point, one person, like, where they're having this big fight scene, this one person's like pops her head. I was like, what? And they're like, oh, but she has like an axe in her head, and you're like, what is like? Because I remember watching it being like, I've heard so much good things about this movie, and I'm watching going, am I just jaded? Have I just seen too many of these things? And I'm like, this, like, I don't know. Did I just not understand what I was getting into? And yes, that's exactly what happened. I did not understand what I was getting into. That was
exactly it.
So I would say if you're like, I want to watch something scary, this is definitely not the film for you. This is way much more on the comedy side than it is the horror side. Probably even, I would almost say more so, like, it gets compared to Shaun of the Dead. I would think Shaun of the Dead is actually at times scarier than this movie really.
Oh yeah.
Quite is.
This is not at all.
But yeah, the twist is fantastic. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this in chunks, right? So the first 37 minutes, I mean, anything that kind of stood out to you in the film part of it, like the one actually long cut.
Yeah, like I said, I got frustrated with it because I was like, what are they? I was like, this must be the lowest budget movie, which according to Nate,
which it was
pretty low. It was
which
really low.
It was. Yeah.
But even with all that, there were still parts of it. Like, if you only watch that continuous cut, there are a little bit of scary parts in it. Like, if you're just taking that, one cut of the dead, like the very last scene of it where they're zooming out and she's just standing there, looking real creepy. I was like, oh, that's creepy. Like, she needs to stop staring at the camera because that's really creepy, So you're getting, I think one of you said it, you're kind of getting two movies, right? You're getting this horror movie, but then you're getting the Shaun of the Dead part of it. So, but yeah, the first part was just ridiculous.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, look, this could be in the start of zombie lore. I mean, this could be the first throw up zombie.
Oh my gosh, I know, right?
All right. I mean, is this like the first like vomit zombie that we've ever like really gotten into? You know what I mean?
I mean, I love the makeup
of
that zombies, like the contact lenses and everything. I thought that was kind of a cool kind of effect. There's a lot of just like I can't remember what her role is. She's like the PA or whatever. She's teaching them the self-defense with the pum.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Pum.
Which she's incredible. Like, I mean, I wanted more of her. In fact, I liked her getting unhinged and just being like, oh, were you bit? Well, then it's time to die. Like, not messing around. I love that. The main actress is really funny because I'm like, oh man, she is like, this is like classic terrible horror movie acting, right?
Yes, like, exactly.
Yep. Yeah. And then the director would just keep coming in. I mean, it was the most bonkers thing I've seen in some time with this director. Like, keep going, and then just running out, like keep just rolling, and then like yelling at everyone, but then running away. It's like, what in the hell is going on here? I don't know. I mean, Nate, do you remember your first impression seeing this part of the movie?
Yeah, I mean, I remember just being like, wait, I'm like, okay, so this is like a bad movie on purpose, right? I just kept saying like, right, guys? Right? Is that what we're talking about? Yeah, then obviously being pleasantly surprised. I will say that now, who is the wife, right, of the director in the film, she's probably the biggest actress, Harumi Shishama. She's probably the biggest actress of this. Did a lot of stuff after this one, and probably is like the only one with like a link in Wikipedia. So I will say that she's probably the biggest person in the movie, and I would say the best actor or actress in the movie.
She did a great job.
Like, she was fantastic, and she went from having an axe to her head to chasing people to like, being like kind of quiet to being very loud to showing self-defense moves and everything in between. So I think she was probably the best actress. I would say for sure. And she was also and I forgot to mention this. She was also in the One Cut of the Dead spinoff in Hollywood.
Oh, nice. Okay.
That's right. So there was also a spinoff made for TV movie that was less than an hour long. So
yeah, no, it was good.
Not highly rated. Not as highly rated.
As far as the actual like the single cut, I mean, that was pretty fantastic. And I mean, I think it took them 2-ish days or so to get like the best version of it. But yeah, I mean, the one cut's actually good. I actually didn't think it was a full cut. I really thought it was they pulled a Halloween where the whole cut there was actually like a hidden edit there. But no, they fully one cut. But you know about that, right, Nate? About the Halloween, like the opening cut or whatever.
Yes, I do know that.
Okay,
yeah.
I can't remember if we ever talked about that
from the.
No, what are you talking about?
From the director commentary.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, I saw this on that Movies That Made Us documentary, but effectively, so Halloween famously opens up with a single cut take, and it's of young Michael walking through the house, and it's from his perspective, right. And he's chasing, following his. Well, what they said was that the camera at that time, it's one of those. It's like the first use of this like moving camera, basically, like you could walk around with,
like the steady cam.
Yeah, steady cam. But the film could only hold so much footage at the time, so it could only hold like what 4.5 minutes or some amount of actual reel. So they couldn't do when they would block the scene out. They actually couldn't get all the way through before they would run out of film. And so they cleverly, if you watch the movie now, the scene where Michael finds the mask, like the clown mask, and puts it on, that's the cut.
Oh, that's smart.
And you can't ever, you really would never. I mean, it took me. I was today's years old when I found that out. Right? You would never really know that.
Today's years old.
There's this. I thought they did. I thought they did in this one, but they didn't, and it was very well done.
There's another famous use of that in Alfred Hitchcock's Rope, where they would do a similar move, like opening a coffin in a way where like it covers the camera, right, and then you close it, and then then you're still going for the cuts because it was made in like 1958 or something.
Yeah, single cuts are super,
pretty cool.
Single cuts are super impressive. I mean, I think the last really good one I remember seeing was on Haunting of Hill House, right? That long episode, and that was because like almost an entire 40-minute episode was practically like it was like one long cut, and then there's some other ones in between here and there. But the funeral scene on that show is great. This was really good. I almost think it's harder to do one cut when you're also pretty obviously having a bad it's not like a high quality like this is intentionally bad to some degree, right? Like I feel like you could work around, like you could take that first cut and then you work around those mistakes, right? And work into the narrative this way. I mean, I was pretty impressed. I really liked it. And I know that's frankly the selling point of this whole movie, right?
That is the selling point. I mean, that's the whole,
because you find out in the next half. I mean, the twist is that this is supposed to be a live television broadcast for a zombie channel. What TV channel are they having in Japan where this is like we need this for sweeps? Like
we gotta the importance of the zombie channel launch cannot be underestimated.
This is the same person behind Marlena coming back and getting possessed again on Days of Our Lives. It's same executives.
Is that featuring on the zombie channel? Because if so, I'd subscribe it.
No, it's on the demon channel, Nate.
Well, maybe they merged. Maybe they merged. Demons, zombies, tigers. I don't know.
I mean, Lisa, I think when you found out about the twist, I mean, you felt justified now in having watched the first 40 minutes, right?
I perked up. I perked up for sure. You know things that are coming, right? Like, you know that his wife is going to be in the movie, but she doesn't get cast. So you're like, okay, so how does she get there? So yeah, you start piecing things together, and the more things that get pieced together, it just gets funnier and funnier, really.
I mean, the fact that like the first zombie is like vomiting and like acting weird compared to the other zombies, like how you see how that happens. I mean, there's just some incredible.
It's stuff. Really good.
Why the camera does what the camera does, it's just some craziness. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Fun fact: Mitch and I built our own vomiting zombie one year for a Halloween party. So we had the idea first.
There you go. Well, we'll expect our royalty check of that to come in the mail. No, I would say this about this movie. It's really 3 parts, right? So this movie is the film, then it's the lead up of what happens, and then it's like the film, but the behind the scenes cut. And the middle, like, I know watching it, I feel like I had like a whole range of emotions watching this thing. It was really cringe the first half of it, and then you get into that second portion of it, and you're like, all right. And you're just kind of listening to him. You're so like, all right, let's get to it. But everything that's in that second part is so important for the payoff. Like, without that middle part, everything that happens afterwards, you wouldn't appreciate as much. Like the dude that's like, I asked for soft water. Did you get the email? Yeah. Nate, did you get the email? It was in the email.
I actually don't get the email.
It was in the email. It just
check my emails.
Oh my God. It just those kind of things where it was so well scripted and came across real well. I did like the table read where she the one lady had to bring her baby, and I think every parent of a young child has felt this, particularly in the last few years, right? Just being with pandemic and having to have kids at home. It's just like everyone's trying to do the table read, and this baby is just like, oh, are y'all trying to do something productive? Let me scream through the entirety of it. Real funny. I don't know. It was so good. Nate, I assume that you really liked the daughter.
Of course I did. I love the daughter. This movie, and I think the reason why it did so well is there's 3 parts of the movie, right? There's the initial open, of which it is a hilariously kind of funny, bad, but also kind of good at the same time zombie movie. Then the second part is the behind the scenes of like, this guy who's the director, like, getting the job and his family, what they're doing, and the behind the scenes of casting the actors and the interactions between them and prepping for the movie. And then the actual live recording of the movie, right? This is a live recording. This is a live zombie movie for a zombie channel in Japan. I mean, what kind of gimmicky, hilarious? I guess the zombie channel would do something that gimmicky, right? I mean, that I guess makes the most sense. But there's 3 parts of the movie, but the second part, the smallest part of the movie, gets you kind of endeared to the characters, and I think does a very good job, very good job of making you, empathize with the characters when they have the inevitable struggles during the actual filming of the, what was the first part, right, of the actual zombie movie, and explaining why they go off script sometimes and why they do different things. It was kind of awesome. The character building in this movie is, I would say, very good, and that's not what you would expect from this movie. At watching the first 30 minutes, you go, oh man, the character building, this is going to be great. No, I would not have said that. But it really goes there, and it makes it all work. It's pretty awesome.
So yeah, in the third act, you obviously see them filming this continuous take, this live movie. So what was y'all's favorite revelation from that, right? Like you see why there's a vomiting zombie. You see why, the cameraman dropped the camera. You see all these little things that suddenly make sense. So which one was your favorite one?
Like the favorite revelation?
Yeah, like Mitch said, the mom standing up with the axe through her head at the end was because she was.
Oh yeah,
they essentially had to knock her out,
her
right?
being choked out because she gets too into
was.
character is so great. Such a great reveal.
I thought it was great when the camera was like down, like showing her like fighting off and kicking the zombie guy, right? It's because she ran into the camera, like knocked the camera guy out.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome. I liked that one quite a bit, actually.
I think my favorite parts were where they had to give them direction. So they wrote it on the cue cards. Yeah. And like they made a commotion and they had to turn to read the cue card, or the zombie was shuffling towards her to tell her grab the axe when you go outside, and then shuffles back out.
That's the best one of those too, because like you're in the movie, it's just like she's hiding and she's like, like she's freaking out. It's just all you see is this dude's like calves, and then like later in the reveal, it's just like he's dirtied up his calves, but like top, he's just wearing like a tank top and just holding like the sign that says, "Hey, you need to grab an axe because we have to figure out how you get the axe at some point." I mean, just
because there's
the
two
zombie like
axes
chasing them is also like the one who like helps her up. Like you just see a bunch of random stuff that is just kind of cool. It was just kind of cool.
All the ones of the zombie being like totally just passed out drunk, and the director's just like shoving his face into the window and doing.
It was
like,
so that was.
I mean,
that was those were great.
I was out loud. Like I was worried I was going to wake up the kids. I was laughing that loud at it. So good. I mean, it's all good. It all pays off from everything. I mean, I think that's what I really appreciate about this film. It's like, everything has happened for a reason. There's very little thing that's just like they don't touch on it. So it's very impressive, and it just makes it that much more funnier and enjoyable. Like the end of this, I mean, they have this like crazy like satanic blood symbol in the roof, and they're going to use this crane camera to basically get it, but it breaks. They have to do the human pyramid, which I thought was just genius.
Yeah, it's like basically like a bad high school like pep rally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone is just dying. Even the guy who's like the producer or whatever is just dying. And then they're like, we cut. And they all just like fall down in a heap, just like straining. It was pretty great. I
love the person that keeps trying to get on the pyramid and keeps falling off, because that would be me.
That would be you.
Oh yeah, trying to get up there and just losing my balance every time and falling back down, for sure.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So now when we do the human pyramid, we'll put Lisa toward the bottom that way.
No, I can't handle the weight. You just leave me out of it.
I mean, there's okay, guys.
This is a required human pyramid.
Lisa, there's three of us. I think you'll be able to make it on top.
Oh no, this is like all of our listeners. Like everyone has to get together and band together.
Oh my goodness! All of Idaho is getting together. All of Idaho
gets together when we're recording our $25,000 movie. So yeah, watch out for that.
I do also like, they occasionally cut back to the TV studio and the producer is just there like, isn't this amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was so hilarious and so tiny. She might've been the tiniest person I've ever seen in a movie. It's like her and the lady from Poltergeist. Like,
oh my God.
Okay. Who's tinier with like a higher pitched voice? Like who's going to win the battle?
But she's into it. She's like, isn't this the best idea ever?
It was great. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know that I have a whole lot more to say about it. I mean, it's a lot of it, to be fair, a lot of it's very much sight gags and stuff. But it's very funny. I mean, I think if you're looking for something a little lighter, which I know a lot of our unsuspecting victims probably are, this is right up there.
Yeah. I rarely recommend something, but this can be watched by all, and it's very good, very funny.
Nate, with that, anything else? Any other thing about this movie you want to?
No, I mean it's a movie that's recording the making of another movie, and you would think that could get pretty tangled, right, and like kind of lose the thread, but it doesn't. And it's all very cohesive. That's what makes this movie so good, is that the cohesion between the three different parts works super well. So when you see things, it all makes sense, and like the thread continues the whole time. So that's pretty impressive to do, and why it did so well, I think, because everything makes sense. You have no idea what's happening, and then other things start happening, and then it makes sense, and then you see the culmination of everything go on, and it's like a triumph. Like it's very good. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was a very good movie, very obviously innovative way to make a movie for sure. And I'm sure it made it made some people more famous, and it made some people some money. So, I mean, kudos to them. This is like, I mean, like, what are some of the movies that like made $1 jillion, from like a low budget, right? Like Get Out was a bigger budget. I think it was like a $5 million, and they made like, 300 million or just what, some huge number. Paranormal Activity, right, was kind of maybe the original, like that. The first one was filmed for like what, like, and they like borrowed somebody's house and they filmed it for like, $75,000, and it made, like 100 million or whatever, some nonsense, right? But out of all those kind of movies, I think this one I prefer by far the most. So, yeah.
All right. Well, look, let's without any further ado, let's just get into the final cut.
Final cut.
I mean, look, this is a solid entry into Japanuary. Lisa, I'd like to ask you to go first as our unsuspecting victim. This is certainly in your wheelhouse. I want you to set the stage for us. Where do you think this
was? I think I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
Oh!
It's really good. It's really good. I don't think I'll give it a 10 out of 10 because some of the stuff in the first part got frustrating. But I mean, mainly that's because I didn't know what was in the second half of the movie. But it's really good. It's very rare on this podcast that I'm like, oh, go watch this movie because I really liked it. But all the cast did a great job. It's very seamless. It fits together really well. It's pretty funny. It's one of the few for the podcast that if Mitch, in a year from now, he's like, oh, let's watch that one again. I'd be like, yeah, sure. That's fine. Let's watch it. So yeah, I'm sure that's the highest rating I've given a movie in quite some time, but it was really good. So far, Japanuary is doing good for Lisa. So
you also gave Last Night in Soho a 9.
Okay. Yeah.
And A Quiet Place Part 2.
Yeah. Those are all in the top chunk of movies that we've seen. So
we've been giving you way too many good movies. I'm looking at these ratings. I'm seeing a lot of like 7s and like 6s and 9s and 10s.
We got to get some trash going, I think.
No, you don't.
There's a 10 in there. It was Edward Scissorhands, but still there was a 10 in there. I mean, wow. All right, we need to like start cracking the whip here. Jeez.
All right, well, Nate, what are you giving this one?
Oh, this movie's fucking good. I'm gonna give it an 8. I don't think I can go quite 9, but 8 out of 10 puking zombies. I mean, it's good. It's good. There's so many zombie movies, right? I mean, this could have been another. This could have been another like funny zombie movie like Shaun of the Dead, or like serious zombie drama like A Walking Dead. There's just so many zombie things, right? All countries have done it. You go on Netflix, you can probably see zombies from like 17 countries at this point. I mean, it's not new. Nothing's new. This is new. This broke the mold using that as kind of a, very starting, premise, which is really impressive. I mean, that's like, that to do something new with zombies is pretty. That's pretty good, right? I mean, yeah. So just for for how innovative the movie was, I mean, it's easily, I think, worth an 8 on its own. And the the actress who plays I don't remember what her character was called in the actual movie itself, but the wife of the director in this one now, I mean, she was great. The guy who played the director was great. I mean, basically the acting in this was solid, and the non-acting from the actors was solid. Like the bad acting was like very convincing too. Everyone did a great job. Great premise. I don't think you can make a sequel to this. You can probably milk it in some other ways, but I don't know if you can really make a sequel to this. So they've made a couple other things. There was a spinoff. I think during COVID, there was like kind of a remote kind of like, version, right? But there's no way to really like make a sequel to this movie because it's so like perfect. But yeah, I mean, it's just an innovative premise. I mean, I can't get over it. I mean, I can't think of another movie that we've done where I was just like, this is real clever. Like, this is really, yep, you guys got it. Like, this is really good. I can't think of anything else I've seen in a long time that's had like this kind of impact. So I'd say well done. 8 out of 10.
Oh my goodness. 9 and an 8. Where do I
know this is like, this sucks, man. These movies are too good. Boo.
Yeah. I mean, look, last week I gave one of my very, very highly reserved 10 out of 10s that I really don't want to give 10s a lot.
Oh my God.
I'm not about to give it a 10. So
okay. Whew. It's like, wow,
but I'm debating between 8 and a 9. I'm gonna go with 8 out of 10. I think I'm gonna go with you, Nate. 8 out of 10.
This is I don't like this.
Soft waters.
I don't like how similar our scores were, and I don't like that everyone's happy about it. Like, this seems wrong to me.
Yeah, well, look, when
everyone is way too happy with how this went. I don't like that.
One of my all-time favorite horror movies. Not in so much that it's scary. It's one I saw young, and it's just one that I just always liked. Was Romero's Night of the Living Dead, which everyone's seen that, right? I mean, the black and white one. It's not the first zombie movie ever made, but it basically redefined the genre for everyone, right? I mean, this is effectively starting with that same premise and then going a completely different direction. That's what they were going for, right? And it's so good. It's so well acted. I mean, everything is planned and thought out. The execution is incredible in terms of it being a one cut. But I mean, just think about how difficult that is for all the things that they actually do. I mean, hell, even during the credits, you get a behind the scenes of the behind the scenes. Like, I mean, it's so good. And
what's crazy about this movie is that it was filmed in 8 days.
Yeah.
And then it was edited over the course of 4 months. So like to get that to all fit, right, is like a crazy, like ordeal, right? But yeah, I mean, obviously made it work. So
yeah, I mean, honestly, the only thing keeping the lower score is just the fact that the actual movie itself is so cringy and rough before, and it's a long time before you really catch what's going on. So before you really get like the feel good of it, where you're like, oh, okay, you're kind of suffering through it for being a little more than a third of the whole runtime.
I don't know. I mean, the beginning makes it like that like sitting through that. I think, I don't know. Well,
you need to do it. Don't get me wrong. You need to do it. And I'm not taking off a lot of points or anything off of it, but I do think that for your first time in, if you didn't know what this movie was, I mean, there's a real risk that you turn this shit off. Like those credits roll and you're just like, all right, I'm done. Right? Like, I can certainly see, that first little bit felt like a slog until you realize what they were trying to do. And then you're like, oh my God, this is genius. But you have to get there. And I think that's the only thing that maybe holds it up. I don't know how you would do that any different. I don't know. I don't know how beyond making the movie itself a little better. And so like, there's some things they could have done to clean it up a little bit just to make it a little bit less like full schlock. Right. But, it's still really good. 8 out of 10 is high praise. As Nick Cage, patron saint of this podcast.
We gotta do a movie that everyone hates but me. Like what? Well, this has not happened in a long time. Like I'm getting antsy that there hasn't been a movie where like I love it and everyone else just hates me. Like this is I'm out of my wheelhouse now at this point.
I know.
Like, this is strange for me.
Look, let us know. Leave us a review. You leave us those 5-star reviews. Find a movie that we're gonna hate, and that way you get all the good stuff. But you need to find the hard part is not finding a movie it's finding a movie that we don't agree on is the trick. And really, that's anything A24 is coming out. So let us know what A24 film you'd like for us to watch.
Oh, you mean The Northman? Oh, come out.
No, I'll be there with you on The Northman. So
I don't care what's happening, what's going on. Like my house is on fire. Don't care. Go to see The Northman. Sorry. Like it's happening. First night Northman, no matter what. I gotta see Bjork. I gotta see all kinds of good stuff. Should be good.
Well, there you go. Have that to look forward to. I can guarantee that will be one Lisa will probably not enjoy as much as Nate does for sure. So that should be a fun
Alexander Skarsgård shirtless most of the time. Should be fine. It'll be okay.
It'll be fine. Nate, where can they find us?
You can find us as always at TX Pod Massacre on Twitter, Texas Podcast Massacre, everywhere else. Now, again, give us a 5-star review on the podcast platform of your choice. Pick a movie, and we will review it. We do have Human Centipede 3.
No, we don't.
In the list for next month. That's right.
No, we don't. Take that out.
It's there. It's there.
It's going to not be there as soon as I get
to
the list.
If you want to solidify Human Centipede 3 being on our schedule and or request another movie or just tell Lisa to hang in there, although not the last 2 weeks. She's been loving these movies. Average of an 8 score. What is happening? Something's wrong. Cats and dogs living together. Call us at 346-246-3143. That's 346-246-3143. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you're as disturbed as I am that Lisa is having a good time. Like this isn't what I signed up for. Like I signed up for Lisa saying I didn't sign up for this. And now that Lisa is kind of in on this, I think we need to retire Japanuary going forward. I feel
no.
It's run its course. No, there's no need. Everything that's been done can be done. And we'll try something else next year. So
all right. Well, look, we've got a few more left in Japanuary. We're going back in time a little bit more so with next.
We're gonna go forward in time too. I think the last Japanuary episode releases the very beginning of February, but that's fine. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. It's
the time's different there.
Just add an R after in between Japanuary.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know either.
I don't know what that means.
Look, from all of us,
sounds right.
From all of us here at Texas Podcast Massacre, thank you so much for tuning in. And just keep telling yourself, it's only a movie. Good night.